Thank you all for being here tonight. This is really going to be pretty straightforward. It's really about tuition. We have a little larger increase than we've had for, well, maybe forever, because for a long time we hadn't increased our rates at all. And we've been increasing them slowly, but it hasn't quite kept up with what we need. The board of directors met let's see, I knew this was going to do this. There we go. Okay. The board of directors met at the beginning of the month and sat down for a few hours and hashed out budget issues and budget issues, and then looked at the tuition and what it was going to take to fund what we felt the budget would look like. The budget for this year, just to give some context, the budget for this year for expenses was $457,000 for everything we do, salaries, rent, everything we do. And that has not grown a lot over the course of time. I think it's been just over $400,000 since I started, way back in the day, and it's only at $457 as of this year.
Got it.
Of that $457,000, tuition accounts for $325,000 of that. So as you can see from right from that leaves almost $132,000 that we're raising this year through grants, donations, fundraising, private donations, whatever we can get. We believe we're on track for that this year, but that's a lot to fundraise. And that's one of the things that I want to make really clear to everybody too, is that, so we had 22 students when we did these calculations. 22 students at that $457,000. That works out to $20,785 per student that was enrolled at that time. And at the moment, the number is 20 instead of 22. So technically that would be a bigger number, but this number is plenty good for our purposes tonight. So when you think about it, if it costs $20,785 for each student, in order to make the world go round and for pathways to be open and for the salaries and all that stuff, that's $4,185 more than our full tuition. And that was a big aha for us earlier in this year. We're doing a better job, I think, of looking at our finances, and it really kind of hit home that the $16,600, which some of the folks are paying because they started after the beginning of the school year. The folks who are already in, some of you are saying I don't pay that much. Families that started before August, before the beginning of this school year, were still on $16,250. Folks who started after August or after are paying $16,600. But even at the $16,600, that's $4,185 that basically is financial aid for every family, whether they're paying full tuition or not. And then the other families are getting a lot more assistance. About a third of our families get assistance beyond that. So next year's budget for 25-26, starting in August, because everything's going up and we need to be able to give people raises and all that good stuff. We're estimating a 5% increase in the budget for salaries and all those things. That would bring us to a target at the moment, rough, because we haven't done the budget, but just thinking in terms of 5% more based on what we pay per student, of $481,000 for 23 students. Now, 23 students is almost at our current capacity. We are looking to increase our capacity with a new program, which I could talk about at another time. I'm happy to talk about anybody. It doesn't affect any of your families, just so you know. These would be additional students for something that is a pilot program for us, but it would we're looking at increasing our cap by 3 students overall to 27 if we're full. So we're budgeting for a little less than that because that's always what we do. So that 23 students would be approximately $481,000 for those 23. So what we are recognizing that 481 is bigger than 457. We are looking to raise tuition $105 a month for those who are paying full tuition, and it would be half that for those of you who are getting 50% financial aid, but $105 per month additional for covering the expenses that will lead to the budget that pays our bills and keeps us open. So that $105 amounts to $17,500 a year. We wanted to give you the smaller number first so that nobody fainted while we were online. $17,500 a year full tuition, or if you're getting financial aid at 50%, and some families are, that would be $8,750 for that. We can work out amounts with InFacts. It'll help you to figure out payments. I'll get these numbers in so that InFacts you'll be able to see that. I don't think we have many people signed up yet for the new school year. That's what we're doing right now, and that's why we're announcing the tuition. I want to make clear, financial aid is still going to be available. We will continue to offer financial aid through Facts Management. It's our financial aid, but it's managed through Facts, up to 50% of tuition for families that qualify. And as I said, we've run about a third of our families who qualify for financial aid of one level or another. In addition, if anybody is here and they're thinking that's going to stretch pretty hard. If you are in a position where the financial aid it may not be quite enough. Last year and again this year, we are partnering with ACE Scholarships, and we've sent stuff out about that before. I sent out an email last month about their applications opening up. ACE Scholarships are still available to families at Pathways Academy. We have a couple of families that are on scholarship with ACE Scholarships, and they have at our enrollment, they will fund up to 4 scholarships. So there's room for a couple more families to qualify if they get their information in. You apply through Facts, and the link, if you go to the school's website and go to I think it's the tuition link. It's up at the top. You'll find it. A drop down says Facts Management and says ACE Scholarships. Scholarships, you go to the ACE Scholarship. It takes you to a page on Facts Management. You log in with the same ID that you use for the school. That way they know who you're attached to. And you can apply right there. It's basically the same financial aid. If you've applied for financial aid with the school, the financial aid through Facts is a pretty easy, as I understand it, is pretty easy to enroll for. There's still an acceptance process. They have a limited number of funds, but that's all there, and it can be taken care of. Deadline for that is April 4th. So we're a little less than a month, but if you're applying for financial aid with us anyway, that shouldn't be a stretch, I hope. And a reminder, like I said, we fundraise a huge chunk of money, what feels like a huge chunk to us anyway. So your support, the support from all the families for fundraising and whatever kinds. We've got families here on the call who help with the golf tournament. They help with the fundraising meals, all sorts of stuff that goes on. Those of you who help already, fantastic. Thank you very much. If you haven't yet had the opportunity to, Miss Melissa or I or Deb would be happy to help you to find a way to plug in to help with fundraising. The more we fundraise, the less we have to raise tuition, but we have to be really careful about not overestimating what we can fundraise. So that is the entirety of the deal. I wanted to leave a moment or two for questions in case there were any. Let's see how clear I was. Are there any questions about any of that? Apparently it was very straightforward, which is absolutely fine by me. That was it. So 10 minutes. I like being brief. That's all I've got. But like I said, I wanted all the families to be able to hear it at the same time. I am recording this because I know there was one or two families who weren't going to be able to get on. So I'll post this if you need to see it again. It'll also go out in as an email to everybody because I don't want anybody to miss the news. Oh, Amanda, I see you've got something here. Do we have new potential students for the new school year? Is that what I'm seeing? I can only see part of it here. If that's the case, Amanda, yes, thank you. We are through the new pilot that we're doing. A lot of what we're doing is we're getting referrals from the therapy company that's working with us, Prism Autism Services. That program will likely be filled with mostly students from Prism. So they're already working with these students in their center, but those students need to get out of the center and into a school. So they're recommending students to us that they believe would be a really good fit for us, and they know us because they've been with us. Prism's been working with us for a year and a half, so they have a good sense of what goes on. So yes, in fact, we are starting a new student, not from Prism. We're starting a new student in the middle school, in the B group, as soon as we come back from spring break. So we're always enrolling if there's space, and we have a space, and we're fortunate to be picking up a new student. We think he's going to be a really good fit. We talked to another family today. They haven't shadowed yet, but we've got several interesting leads. We're hoping that the families will decide to go with us and not something else. I think they'd be a good fit for us. So, yep, we're always looking. We'll be publicizing more. We're making a bigger deal of open enrollment after you all have had a chance to re-enroll. So our goal is to have you all re-enrolled by the beginning of April, because after that, we're going to start counting open spaces and starting to take students in based on the spaces we feel like we have left. So if you get your stuff into us by April 1st, we know who to count. Nobody will lose a space if they have their stuff in by April 1st. After that, it's not like we have a rush, but if a family was to delay, it is possible to lose a space. I'm going to contact folks that we're confused about not hearing from to make sure that they really aren't re-enrolling. But this announcement's part of that. Making sure you have the information you need to make the decision about the next school year. We're hoping that it's not too much for too much for folks to be able to absorb. I know it's not fun to absorb any of it. We get cost increases on everything we do. But yes, enrollment is looking good. We believe that. Anything else? I'm watching for that chat to pop up too. From Christy. Let's see. Let me pull this up so I can see it better. Christie's. So to be clear, the financial aid students are going up 55 monthly. Well, that's I hadn't calculated it. The 105, that'd be 52 and a half. Because it's 105, it would be 105 for full pay, so it'd be half that, so it'd be 52 and a half. It's all right. You were close. Anything else? All right. So that's it. I want to say thank you to Jennifer and Matt and Jan, their board members who helped make that decision. They were able to get on with us tonight. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody else here in the list that I can see. But the board spent real time considering this. I don't know that we actually literally sweated, but we metaphorically sweated about it, because the last thing we want to do is make it harder than necessary for you all to have your students at Pathways. We believe that it's a good place for all of your students. So I'm hoping that that doesn't hinder anybody from re-enrolling. If it does, I need you to come see me. Okay, don't just not re-enroll. I need you to come see me, because if I can't say for sure, but if there was something we could do, we will make sure to do it. But like I said, ACE scholarships, they're going to give they're going to be granting I think up to $3,000 for K through 8 families, and $4,000 for families in the high school range. So, and that's money that once you get it, will keep going each year. You won't even have to re-enroll for it the way you do with ours. So, ACE can be a really good avenue for families that already qualify for financial aid. All right. I didn't see anything else pop up. I don't see any hands waving. So I'm going to turn you loose. Go have dinner. Go rest. Whatever it is you guys do in the evenings. Some of you are maybe going to another job. I don't know. But I appreciate you being here. Have a great night. And I'll see you in the parking lot tomorrow morning. So yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good night.